So what's going on YouTube? So for today's video, I got y'all with a different type of video. I got y'all with the top 5 SMGs in Warzone right now. Over the past recent weeks, there's been a couple of updates that have either nerfed or buffed a lot of the SMGs and a lot of guns in Warzone. And I just want to keep y'all updated on the top 5 SMGs to use right now. Whether you play Rebirth or Caldera, I believe they kind of go under the same umbrella as far as SMGs, and I want to keep y'all updated. If you like any news in this video, man, make sure to like the video up and subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications. Let me know in the comment section if you like these news / update type of videos. I believe I'm pretty knowledgeable in Call of Duty that I could probably bring these as well as gameplay videos going forward. I appreciate everybody that subscribed to my channel thus far, man. We are so close to our goal of 100 subscribers. So close. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and let all your friends know to subscribe to TheKingTay, man. I just want to give a quick shout out to these people that commented Noti Gang in my last video. If you want to be featured in a future video, make sure to comment Noti Gang down below in the comment section. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the top 5 SMGs to use in Warzone right now. Alright, so before we get into the top 5 SMGs, I hit y'all with an honorable mention option. The honorable mention option is going to be the Type 100. This is a pretty strong SMG to use in Warzone right now. The only fallback is it's really only good for like solos and duos, whether it be Caldera, Rebirth, or Fortune's Keep. Just the mag size kind of lacks its opportunity to use in like trios and quads. So for the Type 100, man, for the muzzle, I went ahead and used the recoil booster, which helps out with the fire rate. You know, it makes it kind of a laser. A lot of people use recoil boosters on all their SMGs. I recommend it for most of my SMGs for sure. Went ahead and went with the rapid barrel, which helps out with fire rate and damage range, which helps out in a lot of those close range fights to beat out your opponent. Optics definitely gonna be personal preference. I like using the slave reflector on all of my optics. I know some people like the Nadar or like the iron sight, so it's really up to you, your personal preference. For the stock, I went ahead and went with the folding stock. It's gonna help with your initial shots for firing, because the recoil on the Type 100 is a little wonky at first, but you know, put this folding stock on and it helps out a lot with the control of that recoil. So for the underbarrel for the Type 100, I went ahead and used the Mark Skeletal underbarrel. It helps out with aim, ADS speed, and movement speed. So for the mag size, I went ahead and went with the 36 round Russian short mag. It helps out with damage range, damage, bullet penetration, and bullet velocity. Like I said, this mag size is really good on solos. Just on trios and quads, when you try to face 1v4s, 1v3s, you kind of got to play it a lot smarter. You know, maybe down one, go around the corner, reload. That's kind of like a disadvantage, or I guess a con for the Type 100. I went ahead and used hollow point ammo on my Type 100 for limb damage. I personally still use tape grip on all my SMGs for the most part. It helps out with aiming stability, movement speed, weapon swap quickness, and sprint to fire speed with no cons. So I like the fact that it doesn't take anything off my gun. For this one, I use unmarked as my perk because I don't like showing up on enemies' tactical maps. I know a lot of people use acrobatic or maybe gung-ho or maybe sleight of hand. I just like not showing up as a ping on the enemy's maps. Then for my last attachment, I went ahead and used quick as a perk, just increases sprint speed. So let's go ahead and get into the top 5 SMGs right now, or what I think are the top 5 SMGs in Warzone right now. So for number 5, I've got the Welgun, man. So the Welgun used to be meta, used to be a laser beam, but they kind of nerfed it a lot since it's, you know, first update, I guess, into Warzone. But I still think it hits the top 5 mark, especially for Rebirth or Fortune Keep players. So for the Welgun attachments, I got you guys with the muzzle. I got recoil booster, helps out with fire rate. Like I said, it just changes the recoil of a lot of the guns. You will show up on the enemy's map, but I think it's worth it just for making all your SMGs a laser beam. I use the shrouded barrel. I switched from the short barrel. The shrouded just helps out with damage range for those medium to long range fights for SMGs, as well as flinch resistant and is highly accurate. The short barrel, I feel like I lose ammo too much with the short barrel, so I kind of switched to the shrouded. Like I said before, optics pretty personal preference. I'm using the slave reflector for my Welgun. So for the stock for the Welgun, I'm using the remove stock. It helps out with movement speed, sprint to fire speed, and ADS speed. So for the underbarrel, like I said, it's received a lot of nerfs, so I feel like the recoil is a little bit weird on the Welgun now. So I use the hand stop. You can go ahead and use the skeletal underbarrels if you want to for faster ADS speed, but I like the hand stop for vertical and horizontal recoil control. So for the ammo, I went ahead and used the 40 round mag. You could use a 64 round mag, but the recoil jumps. I like the 40 round mag. I feel like it helps with keeping that recoil control, movement speed, and fire rate. For this SMG, I'm using LinkedIn ammo. I switched from the hollow point. I'm using LinkedIn for this one just because I like more bullet velocity on the Welgun. So for the grip, I went ahead and like I said, I like the tape grip, man. It gives you all those pros with no cons. You probably could use maybe like the polymer if you need help with recoil control, or maybe like the leather grip or the fabric grip, but I went ahead and went with the tape grip. For my perks, like I said, I like being off enemies maps, so I went ahead and went unmarked for my first perk. Some people use fleet or gung ho. Keep my sprint speed up, keep my move speed up. I went ahead and went with quick. So number 4 on my top 5 SMGs list is gonna be the MP40. Now you all know about the MP40, man. It's a gun we all love. It was definitely meta before. It was definitely broken with a different build, but I love the MP40, man. It's always a go-to. So for my MP40 build, of course, with my muzzle, I use recoil booster for extra fire rate. Barrel, I switched to the short barrel, so for more damage range, bullet velocity, and limb damage. But it does take away from the headshot damage if you can't hit a couple headshots. So for my optic, I use a slate reflector. Like I said, I personally use slate reflector, but if you like the Model 47 or maybe the iron sight, you can go ahead and use that as well. So for the stock, I use the folding stock, which helps out with sprint to fire speed and movement speed. For the underbarrel, I use the Mark Skeletal underbarrel, which helps out with ADS speed and movement speed. For my mag size, I went ahead and went with the 7.62 45 round mag, which helps out with recoil control, movement speed, ADS speed, and fire rate. I know some people that probably use maybe the 64 round mag if they feel like they need more ammo, but the 45 round seems like it helps out with recoil a lot. With the MP40, I went ahead and went with the hollow point ammo for limb damage. Told you guys I like to use tape grip on my guns, so I went ahead with the tape grip. For my perks, I got unmarked, like I said, because I like my position to be concealed. Perk 2, I went ahead with quick for more sprint speed. Let me know in the comment section if I've gotten those first 3 guns right as far as leveling, or let me know what other guns you would put in the top 5, or at least at that in top 5 or honorable mention spot. Now I got y'all with the top 3 SMGs right now. Top 3, we're going to the top 3. These are the major ones. So the Blixen just received a couple of nerfs over the past few weeks, so I went ahead and changed my build up. You'll probably see this build with like big streamers like Joe Woe or TC Tech. I kind of copied them as far as like using some of the attachments and changing it up after the last nerf to the Blixen. So for the muzzle, I went ahead and went with the recoil booster. The recoil booster, helps out with fire rate. Like I said, I use it for all my muzzles on my SMGs. Switch on the barrel. I switched from the last 17-inch barrel to the Carlson 17-inch custom barrel. It helps out with horizontal recoil control, firing visibility to the enemies, aim walking movement speed. They recently nerfed the 17-inch barrel, the last one, so I switched to this one, and it kind of helps out with battling that nerf. Optic on the Blixen is going to be the slate reflector. Like I said, personal preference. So the stock I used on the Blixen, I went ahead and went with the remove stock, which helps out with movement speed, sprint to fire speed, and ADS speed. Another thing I switched on the Blixen is I went from the skeletal underbarrel to the SG98 compact. It helps out with aim walking movement speed, reduced scope and sway, and gun bob, and it has no cons at all. So I feel like this helps out a lot with the recoil control, as well as like strafing back and forth in a gunfight. So for the magazine size, I still use the 54 round mag. I know they just recently nerfed it, but I still like it. It helps out with trios and quads, especially on Rebirth Island and Fortune's Keep. I use that because it helps out with recoil control, headshot damage. For this SMG, I'm using lengthened ammo. It helps out with bullet velocity. Like I said, I still use tape grip on all my SMGs, but if you have another grip, let me know in the comment section if you use another rear grip on your SMGs, or you have a recommendation what I should switch from for tape grip. So for perk 1, I'm using fleet, which is weapon swap quickness and movement speed. And then for perk 2, I'm using quick and sprint speed. Alright, so right now I got y'all with the top 2 SMGs in Warzone right now. And I'm sure most of you guys know, for number 2, I've got the Marco. Now the Marco is my personal favorite SMG to run right now in Warzone. I like to play a lot of Rebirth and a lot of Fortune's Keep Resurgence. So the Marco is just a beam and you move so fast with it, man. But you could definitely interchange probably 1 and 2 as far as like being top meta SMG, but let's go ahead and get into the loadout right now. So for the muzzle, I've got the recoil booster that increases fire rate. So for the barrel for the Marco, I use the 342mm barrel. It helps out with highly accurate bullet velocity, flinch resistance, and recoil control, as well as reduced scope and sway. Of course, for my optic, I'm using the slate reflector. It's my personal preference. So for the stock on the Marco, I like to use the Emerito FR stock. Helps out with initial shots when you first start shooting, as far as recoil control. It also helps out with ADS speed and movement speed. For the underbarrel, I use the Mark 6 skeletal underbarrel. It helps out with ADS speed and movement speed. For the magazine size, I'm using the 64 round mag. I just like how it helps out with running against trios and quads. I told y'all before, I like using the tape grip. Even though it's not as broken as it was before, it still helps out with a lot with movement speed and weapon swap quickness and sprint to fire speed. Of course, for my perks, man, I'm using unmarked because I don't like being on the enemy's map. But if you don't like using on mark, you can go ahead and use like gung ho. I know that helps a lot with the Marco. And for my last perk, I like to use quick, man. It helps out with sprint speed. Let me know in the comment section whether you like the Marco or you like this #1 build I'm about to show you guys here, the #1 top SMG. Or let me know what you think I should change for my Marco build. So the #1 SMG in Warzone right now, today, whether it be Caldera, Rebirth, Fortune's Keep, it's going to be the Armaguerra. Now the Armaguerra has gotten a couple of buffs, a little bit of a nerf in the last couple of weeks, but it's definitely, you know, top SMG. Like I said, 1 and 2 are kind of interchangeable, but I personally think the Arma has a little bit of an edge over the Marco, and it just beams and it puts people down, man. So for my Armaguerra build, got the recoil booster for my muzzle, helps out with fire rate. So for my barrel, I use the body 315mm barrel, helps out with damage. It's less of a damage fall off at long range, so for those medium fights on like a resurgence map, it helps out a lot, as well as bullet velocity. Of course, for my optic, I'm using slate reflector. So for my stock, I like the skeletal stock. It helps out with initial shots, as well as ADS speed and aim, walk, and movement speed. Even to make this recoil even better, I use the hand stop, which helps out with vertical recoil and horizontal control. It takes away from hip fire accuracy, but I don't really hip fire with the armor, so I don't really have to worry about it. But for the mag size, I use the 9mm 60 round mag. Some people use the 72 round, maybe because they feel like the bullets, you lose a lot of bullets quicker. But I like the 60 round mag. Since this Armaguerra does not have unmarked as a perk, I use subsonic, so I stay away from the enemy's maps, but I know you can still use LinkedIn or Hollow Point if you like. I also use Tay Grip on the Armaguerra. Helps out aim stability, movement speed, weapon swap quickness, and sprint to fire speed. For my perk 1, I use hard scope, which helps out with aiming down sights for a short time, recoil control. And then for the last perk on the Arma, I use the quick for the sprint speed. This is definitely the top SMG right now in Warzone, whether it's Caldera or Rebirth. Let me know in the comments section if you agree with me as far as SMGs in my top 5 build. Let me know again in the comment section if you guys like this type of content coming from my channel instead of all just gameplays. I can give news or updates or patch note videos going forward. Also, let me know how you'd rank my top 5. Did I hit it on point? Am I 1 to 10? Let me know. Let me know. I think I did pretty good. I think the top 3 are interchangeable, whether it's your personal preference. My favorite is the Marco, but if I feel like I'm in a sweaty lobby, I use the Arma. Now make sure to like this video, man. Subscribe to the channel. I got tons of content ideas coming forward, man. I appreciate everybody tuning into the video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.